Someday I'm going to figure out what's wrong with my computer. It keeps cutting off my videos, and it does everything else wrong as well. Uh, but yeah, so I was cut off at the end of the last video. Um, I just wanted to at the risk of beating a dead horse, to reiterate, this is something that's very tentative. I'm not uh, trying to be presumptuous. I really don't want to say that you have to conform to this, even if you know that you don't, if you are a former Christian. Um, but so far as I can tell, this seems to be the best way for a person who does believe in eternal security to understand the situation. Um, and um, the various people that have been in the faith, but then came to speak against it, or at least to admit that they no longer believe it, they will say that there were various reasons, various arguments, rationality, evidences that led them to that position. Gary Lanier, for example, in Tourniquet, there was a Christian metal band. They're still around, but they haven't really released any new material lately. The guitarist, Gary Lanier, he wrote a book which I believe was self-published, so maybe you haven't heard of it. But he wrote a book saying, describing why sincere believers sincerely, walk away. Dan Barker would be a more prominent example of somebody who was a pastor, and they end up debating as an atheist. So there are reasons that people give, and excuse me, and that makes it more difficult for me to harmonize this situation of apostates with my view. It's grasping, it's grappling. I haven't really arrived necessarily at a final, complete, good understanding. I could be wrong in eternal security. That could be a false doctrine. I don't think it is, but I am certainly capable of making mistakes. So that could be the way to understand what's going on here. Alright, so if you happen to be an ex-Christian, and you really were a Christian at one time, and you're really not now, and there was some kind of a logical reason or some other reason that took you from the faith, and you would like to go on record saying that the things I've been describing aren't correct, in your case at least, certainly feel free to do that. You can leave text comments or video responses. I'm having some problems. I think when they got the new format on YouTube, it automatically turned off video responses, and I haven't quite figured out how to turn that back on, or it could just be my computer. So that might not be turned on to automatically allow all video responses, but that doesn't mean I don't want them. As soon as I figure out how to fix that, I will. And in the meantime, you can leave the video response if you're able to. If you're not, text comments, PMs are okay as well. Alright, so that's all I had to say there on this topic of eternal security. And I did mention, I think in video 1, that I alluded briefly to a mental illness, which may have piqued your curiosity. If that's the case, I will talk more about that. I'm planning eventually, I'm not sure when, but eventually doing a series of videos on hell, and not the most cheery topic, certainly, but it's an important one that I think should be addressed by all Christians from time to time. So I'll be talking more about my personal experiences with doubts and fear of going to hell, and so on, and mental illness, how that all ties together in my own life. If you want to hear more about that, you can tune into that series on hell once I eventually do post it. As I said, there was a lot of strong preaching about fire and brimstone, and I was struggling with some different things, and I'll go into more detail on that there. And I realize this is a controversial topic. A lot of people that seem to be very sincere, very godly, very intelligent Christians have disagreed with what I've said. So that's you don't have to agree with me if you are a Christian on this topic, but I think it will help you if you do agree with me, if you are struggling with assurance of salvation. Alright, so eternal security, once saved, always saved. If that's asked as a question of me, I would say yes, we are eternally secure. A Christian cannot become a non-Christian. But again, there's a lot of complications, and hopefully I dealt to some extent with that. But there still is, even in my own mind, some tension or some confusion or some problems there that aren't totally resolved. But I do thank you for listening. I thank you for responding. If you disagree with me, you can respond as well, as a Christian perhaps, or a non-Christian, or if you're an apostate. All comments welcome. And shalom to you all. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye. Shalom out.